Hey everybody, Roger Levin here with your Practice Production Pearl of the Week. I want to talk to you today about the word competition. Now, if you go to business school, there are a lot of courses on competition. They're great textbooks. And my message to you is competition in dentistry is growing. It's not bad news. It certainly would be easier if it wasn't growing, but competition is normal. In the business world, there's lots of competition. Dentistry's now in the business world. We have all kinds of practices opening. We have DSOs. We have different services. We have more competition. And I want to make sure you are ready to compete. Hardening of competition. And the reason I want you to be ready to compete is because eventually you probably will have to. Now, maybe today you're saying, this is a nice pearl, but I don't really have this problem. So I'll listen to it, but I don't have to act. And I'm going to encourage you, based on 40 years of working with practices, thousands and thousands of practices, and based on what we've seen, to recognize that there's often a curve. You're doing well, you're growing, doing well, and then you flatten out, and then you start to come down. And part of the reason now for the decline in the curve is competition. So what are you doing today to get ready for competition? Number one, build a world-class team. Invest time and effort in helping your team excel. They need skills, they need mentorship, they need motivation, they need good leadership. That's number one. Number two, look at your fees and services. Now, I know that insurance is a big factor in many practices. We know that the insurance companies are not running around raising reimbursements. They make it difficult. But you also have fee-for-service patients, most of you. You've got to look at your fees. We find that when the economy is feeling a little tighter. The United States economy is actually pretty good, but there is inflation on everyday goods like eggs and things like that. People feel it. Credit card debt is back to being very, very high, which means people don't have as much disposable income. And when the economy feels a little tighter, dentists often are afraid to raise their fees or raise them to where they should be. And that's a mistake. What you want to do is raise your fees responsibly and build your customer service even better to justify it. When people feel value, they accept treatment and they're happy to pay for it. And then number three is to understand what services you're providing. Are you providing enough of service A, B, C, D, and why not? And there's such great communication tools within our systems. We've been doing this a long time where we educate patients about services or why a service is so important or the consequences of not accepting treatment. So you need to be competition ready. You can't just show up, see patients, do some dentistry, next patient, do some more dentistry. You've got to be a little more strategic, a little more focused. Doing a strategic plan is brilliant. We've been doing strategic plans forever for dental practices. And when you write a 5-year plan, you get a really positive sense of where you're going. As always, I wish you increased practice production every year, and I'll see you next week.